some time ago, we were offering an analogy about how you offer a thought, and as you offer that thought or that vibration, it has attraction power, and it will attract to it other things that are like it. Like is attracted. And we said that if you're standing in your moment in time and you are offering what feels like a valid commentary on something, state of the world or the state of your physical body or a state of relationship or a personality trait that you've noticed in another, as you offer that vibration, and we began using the word spew because we wanted you to feel the spewing of it, the offering of it outward, because we wanted you to get the sense of the way it moves out beyond you and affects everything that you walk into for a while. So as you're offering negative comments about your financial state of being, you keep sort of muddying up the waters ahead of you and making it less possible for you to see with any clarity the things that could work out for you. You're muddying up your own water, so to speak. And that if you would stop doing that, the water would clear. And then the other night, Esther was eager to watch that big cap tighten down on the gushing oil in the Gulf. And as she sat there and saw for the first time in a very long time that well no longer offering that oil, Esther remembered this analogy that now it has stopped. The feeling of it dissipating and becoming a non-subject is understandable, isn't it? As long as it was still spewing, it was like you couldn't clean it up fast enough. You couldn't begin to clean it up until it stopped spewing. There just weren't enough boats on the planet or enough hoses on the planet or enough containment on the planet. It was just messing the water up faster than anyone could clean it up. And that's what you sometimes do with your negative comments, with your negative beliefs. As they keep coming, you just keep messing up the water. And if you would stop the commentary, it is our promise to you that the natural resources that surround you would clear it. And in that clarity, you will return to who you really are. It's one of the best real-time analogies that has come along for a while. Because you can feel that in your own experience. Have you ever had a relationship and you just keep it stirred up? In other words, every time you think of it, you just get mad all over again. And almost as soon as you think of it, you start talking about it, and then you start remembering, and then other things like it start showing up in your experience, and you think, will I ever be rid of this? Is that negative experience going to follow me? Is it going to dog me all the days of my life? And we say, not as soon as you stop talking about it. Not as soon as you stop thinking about it. Have you ever had, some have, some haven't, men and women both, mostly men, but it happens, a fist fight with someone? Well, they deserved it. We all know they deserved it. But you came to that point where you were actually came to physical blows. But there was a point before you threw that punch that if you had held back from it, it would have been better. It would have been better before your nose was broken, wouldn't it? It would have been better before they put you in jail, wouldn't it? In other words, wouldn't have holding back been better, even though it didn't seem like it in the moment? Thinking back on it, wouldn't have holding back have been better? Have you ever had an argument with someone where you were so right and they thought they were so right, and you were determined to make them understand your rightness, and they were determined to make you understand their rightness, and so you just argued and argued and argued and argued until there was hardly any life left in either one of you? And they didn't understand you, did they? Wouldn't it have been better if you had just held back before you crossed that sensitive line? And so in the same way of holding back from the punches and holding back from the argument, we want you to consider the true power in even stopping earlier in this spewing process, in the setting the tone of what's out there process. We want you to think in terms of what you are vibrationally setting yourself up to be the point of attraction of, because what's active in your vibration is your point of attraction. One day a woman argued with us about that. She said, Abraham, I was driving down a very busy freeway, and just to prove her point to us about how positive she was and how screwy law of attraction was, she said, and I was listening to one of your recordings at the time. Doesn't get any more positive than that. I was listening to your recording, and I was pulled over by a police officer and given a ticket. And we said, what was the ticket for? And she said, not wearing a seatbelt. And we said, what do you think about that? And she said, I think it's absurd. I don't think I should have to wear my seatbelt. I think I was born into the land of the free and the home of the brave, and I think I should be able to be brave enough and free enough to drive around without my seatbelt on. I don't think it's anybody else's business whether I wear a seatbelt or not. I don't know what he thought he was doing, pulling me over. I wasn't causing anyone. She got quite animated quite fast. And it became quite evident that even though she was listening to one of our recordings, she had something unresolved percolating there in her vibrational pattern. And that it's not possible for her to be driving on the freeway without belligerently and rebelliously not wearing her seatbelt. She wasn't just nonchalantly and uncaringly and whimsically not wearing her seatbelt. She was defiantly not wearing her seatbelt. And we said, you were driving along, sending a beam out of the roof of your car that said, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. You want trouble? I'll give you trouble. And here's this policeman. He is actually in a much better state of mind than she was. He was out trolling for revenue. And they were a perfect vibrational match for one another. Law of attraction brought them together in the precise way that law of attraction always does. It was perfect co-creation. Co-creation at its very best, really. So what we want to say to you, you hear it. We want you to gather from all of that you are offering signals all the time. And sometimes your signal matches with unwanted things. And sometimes your signal matches with wanted things. And when the signal that you're offering really resonates with the wholeness of who you are, you feel wonderful. But even more important, well, there is nothing more important than feeling wonderful, but even more evident is manifestations have to match that signal of alignment. They just have to. You can't get something unwanted when you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on with who you are. You just can't. Now, she wanted us to believe that. I was listening to a good feeling recording. We said, that's like putting a happy face sticker on your empty gas gauge just because it bothers you to see the tank empty. Now you've got a happy face sticker on it. It's not so troublesome, but it won't keep you from running out of gas. And the same thing is true of your vibrational patterns. In other words, we want you to become more aware of what you're offering vibrationally. So we are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. We'll be talking about law of attraction, but law of attraction is so much more than people think it is. Law of attraction is really about you recognizing at a vibrational and therefore an emotional level who you really are and doing your level best in every moment to be all of that. What it is really about is no longer being willing to walk around as a partial being. So, for example, when you're angry at someone, maybe they got mad at you first and you're just mad in defense. When you're angry at someone, the reason it feels so awful to you is not because the person is mad at you and you are mad at the person. The reason you feel so awful is because you're choosing an attitude and an approach to life that the source within you will never choose. And you are letting this be your excuse to cause vibrational separation. That's too strong of a word because you can't ever separate yourself. But vibrational variance, vibrational difference between who you really are, who is one who loves, and who you're being in this moment, which is one who hates or one who is angry or defensive. So when you begin to care, really care about how you feel, then you begin to contour your thoughts to allow yourself to be first in alignment with who you really are before you're having the conversation or the mental conversation with whatever it is you're focused upon. If you will take the time to align with who you really are and then talk to your kids, if you will take the time to align with who you really are and then think about your business, if you will take the time to align with who you are and then contemplate anything else, personal or worldview, if you'll take the time to align with who you are, you'll feel not only the wisdom of that broader perspective flowing through you, but the resonance. And with that resonance comes clarity and vitality and stamina and eagerness. With that resonance comes everything that you are looking for. There isn't anything that any of you want, whether it's a material object or a state of being, a relationship. There is not one thing that you have ever or will ever want that is for any other reason than you believe you would feel better in the having of it. And what we want you to understand is that you have the ability to feel better now. And we'll show you how. We'll talk about it a lot today. It is Sunday in Australia. Did you know? That was so strange. Jerry and Esther were there. They would call back to Texas to the office and they would say, "We're living your future. It's really good. You'll like it when you get here." And while they had fun with that idea, of course that was not valid, because even though it is Saturday in Portland and Sunday in Australia, it is still now in both places. Whether we are talking about the physical you or the non-physical you, it is still now. It is still now. Who you are is offering a vibration now. And who you are is offering a vibration now. And those two vibrational signals are having a relationship that equals how you feel now. So who you are right now, we can promise you without even looking it up on your astrological chart. Who you are right now is one who loves unequivocally. Everyone. Everyone. Who you are is one who focuses so purely upon the wanted aspects of life that from your point of view, negative emotion is non-existent. That's who you really are. So when you look into your world, and if you need something to be negative about, just turn on CNN. It'll give it to you because they are experts. They are experts at scouring the world and looking for things that will bother you. Because as soon as the problem is solved, they don't show it to you anymore. Because they are not interested in informing you, they are only interested in bothering you. So, as you find something to be bothered about, and you support it with all of the facts that come your way, you discover that the source within you is not watching that station. Source within you is not focused upon bothersome things. The source within you is focused upon who you really are. The source within you is focused upon what you have recently become. The source within you is not looking for the problem and beating the drum of it. The source within you is solution oriented and holding the vibrational, static, chronic signal of the furthest, most well-being that you and others have been able to carve out of all that you have lived. That's what source energy is. And you, no matter how you approach your physical life experience, can never, ever, ever, not one time ever, you cannot move yourself far enough outside the signal of source that its signal doesn't affect you. If you could, you could be really, really negative or really, really disappointed or really, really angry and not feel bad while you're doing it. But because this larger part of who you are is always factored in to your vibrational relationship, then the only way that you can really be happy is to tune yourself to the frequency of your source. And when you do, that's what we call moving into the vortex of fullness, into the vortex of all that isness, into the vortex of now non-resistance to the things that you've been asking for and complete allowance and alignment with their manifestation. That's what being in the vortex.